It all started on a quiet evening in the small town of Greenvale. The sky was clear, stars twinkling above, and life was just another normal day. That was until the lights appeared. At first, they were just tiny specks, like distant stars. Then, as if by magic, they grew larger, brighter, and more defined. It wasn't a meteor shower, nor was it an aircraft of any known type. These lights moved with a deliberate, calculated precision that seemed impossible. The whole town watched, transfixed. Panic swept through some, but others were curious, fascinated even. They were already used to UFO sightings. Greenvale was no stranger to strange occurrences. But this was different. The lights weren't chaotic, they moved in unison, like a fleet. And then, they stopped. In a perfect formation, they hovered above the town. Tom, a retired military officer, immediately sprang into action. He had seen enough to know that this wasn't something ordinary. His mind raced. He quickly called the local authorities, but his gut told him this was more than just a passing curiosity. It was a turning point. Hours passed as the lights continued to hover, never quite landing but never moving away. News outlets began broadcasting live footage, and the world's attention was immediately on Greenvale. Was this an invasion? Were these visitors hostile, or were they just waiting for the right moment? The government was quick to act, sending in military personnel and experts from various fields. Scientists and linguists were brought in to figure out what was going on. But no one knew. The air was thick with tension, and the residents of Greenvale couldn't help but wonder, why had they come? Finally, a broadcast came through from the ships, an encrypted message that took hours to decode. When it finally came through in plain language, it was simple: we come in peace. We seek understanding. The world was stunned. There was no sign of aggression, no weapons, no demands. The people of Greenvale were terrified, but they were also drawn in by the message. Peace. It was what everyone had longed for, but now it felt so impossible. Could they be telling the truth? As the town waited in silence, a small group of volunteers from the government prepared to go up to the ships. Tom was one of them. He felt an unexplainable pull, as if this was his moment. It was his chance to face the unknown head-on, and he couldn't turn it down. The countdown began. As the volunteer team approached the ships, they were filled with a sense of awe. The metallic surface of the craft gleamed in the light, and their towering size was overwhelming. But still, there was no movement, no sudden attack. Just a quiet, still presence. The team approached cautiously, unsure of what to expect. Then, a door slowly opened on one of the ships. A figure emerged. It wasn't what any of them expected. The alien figure was tall, with elongated limbs and a soft, almost ethereal glow surrounding it. Its skin was smooth, a color they couldn't quite describe, and its eyes, deep and intelligent, held a strange calmness. It spoke, its voice carrying through their minds, bypassing any need for language. "We come in peace," it repeated. "We seek your help." But that was when the questions began. What did they want? What help did they need? The tension in the air thickened. No one could quite grasp the enormity of the situation, but they knew it would change everything. As days passed, the alien visitors, whom they now called the Lumarians, revealed more about themselves and their intentions. They shared their origins, a distant planet far beyond the Milky Way. Their civilization had been watching Earth for centuries, intrigued by human development, but also concerned by the path humanity was taking. They revealed that they had visited before, in ancient times, but their presence had been misinterpreted as gods. This time, they were not here to interfere in human affairs, but to offer assistance. "We have the technology to help solve your greatest challenges," the Lumarian leader said, his calm, otherworldly voice resonating in their minds. "Your climate is dying, your resources are depleting, and your species is on the brink of collapse. We wish to help you save yourselves." The world was divided. On one side, there were those who believed the Lumarians. The promise of saving the planet from climate disaster, eradicating poverty, and solving global crises was too alluring to ignore. On the other side, many were deeply suspicious. Why offer such help now? What were they asking for in return? What price would humanity have to pay for their intervention? The governments scrambled to decide how to handle the situation. The Lumarians, though peaceful, had technology that far surpassed anything humanity had. Their ships could manipulate energy and matter, and their communication was far beyond anything human scientists had ever imagined. It was both a blessing and a curse. The fear of exploitation was rampant. Tom was now one of the key negotiators. He had met with the Lumarian leader and tried to gauge the depth of their words. The Lumarians spoke of helping humanity avoid self-destruction, but there was something in their tone that unsettled him. They weren't lying, but they were hiding something. Tom felt it. He needed to know more. So, he volunteered for a mission to the Lumarian home planet. When he arrived, he was struck by the serenity of their world. The planet was beautiful, lush forests, clear skies, and peaceful cities that seemed to float above the ground. But it was the library he found most fascinating. The Lumarians had records of thousands of civilizations they had encountered across the galaxy. And, as Tom would soon discover, some of those civilizations had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The Lumarians weren't the first race to offer help. There had been others. And each time, the civilizations they helped had either vanished or changed in ways that could not be explained. Some had prospered for a time, but all had eventually crumbled, with no clear reason why. Tom realized the pattern. The Lumarians were offering salvation, but the cost was greater than humanity could imagine. When Tom confronted the Lumarian leader, the truth came out. The Lumarians weren't simply offering help, they were conducting an experiment. They had been studying human civilization for millennia, hoping to understand why some species thrive and others die out. And now, they saw humanity as a critical part of their research. The Lumarians' peace was a cover for something darker. They were manipulating the future of Earth, experimenting with human evolution and society. Their help came with strings attached that no one had foreseen. With the truth revealed, the world stood at a crossroads. Tom returned to Earth with the knowledge that the Lumarians had been manipulating humanity's destiny for their own purposes. His mind was torn. The Lumarians' technology could save humanity from the brink of extinction, but at what cost? As the world learned of the Lumarians' true intentions, the response was a mixture of outrage and fear. Some demanded that the Lumarians leave, citing the risk of being turned into mere pawns in a galactic experiment. Others argued that humanity had no choice but to accept the Lumarians' help, seeing it as their only hope for survival. In Greenvale, where it all began, the debate was fierce. The town had become the epicenter of the global discussion. Should they trust the Lumarians, or fight for their independence? It wasn't just about Earth's future, it was about the future of every person who called this planet home. Tom found himself at the center of this moral dilemma. As a military man, he had always believed in protecting Earth and its people, but now the lines were blurred. The Lumarians offered peace, yes, but it came with the price of autonomy. They were the caretakers of a new era for humanity, but could they truly be trusted? Would they allow humanity to grow freely, or would they shape it according to their own desires? In the end, it wasn't the Lumarians' technology that decided the fate of the Earth, it was the choice of humanity. Could they resist the temptation to rely on outsiders, or would they reclaim their independence and try to solve their problems on their own? The final decision came down to a single question: could humanity trust itself to survive without the help of an alien race, or would they choose to live in the shadow of the Lumarians' influence forever? The story raises important ethical questions about power, autonomy, and trust. The Lumarians' offer of help is not entirely altruistic, and their hidden agenda demonstrates how even seemingly benevolent actions can have unforeseen consequences. The ethics of trusting an advanced alien race to solve human problems is explored, showing the complexities of interference versus self-reliance. Ultimately, the story underscores the importance of human agency, the value of independent thought, and the dangers of surrendering autonomy, even in the face of extinction. The choice between accepting help and maintaining control is at the heart of the ethical dilemma faced by humanity.